Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the latest episode of Neck Up Live. My name is Jeff Ramey with my co-host Eugene Collins, and our guest today is Sam Lafon, a 2021 graduate of Ironton High School, who's signed with Marshall University as a women's basketball player out of high school, spent 3 years at Marshall, and is currently in her senior season at Appalachian State. So welcome to the show, Sam.
Hi, guys. Thank you for having me.
Welcome aboard, Sam.
Sam, so you're getting ready to start your preseason practice. One thing we talk about in our journal is time management. So can you kind of give us some insight on what is your day-to-day going to look like once you start preseason practice?
Yes, I can do that for sure. So time management is huge. It's honestly been something that I've had to get much better at in college. I thought I was good at it in high school. Had to learn a lot more stuff about it when I got to college. So a typical day for me right now looks like I get up in the morning. Before I even get up, though, I'm in the journal. I'm in my Bible, whatever, for like the first hour. I eat, kind of plan out my day. And then typically we don't have anything until like 2, 3, 4, 5 in the like later afternoon hours. So I try to get something in outside of all of that. So I'll either go run, go get shots up, whatever in the morning. If I have a morning class, I'll go to my morning class, come back home, eat lunch, get my stuff to go to practice, go get my stuff, go to treatment, about an hour before I get there, go to treatment, whatever, stretch, go to practice, might get shots up after, just depending on what my schedule is if I don't have class, get my stuff, go to treatment again, 5th year, that's why we're at treatment all the time, we're old, and so then get my stuff, go to treatment. If we don't have a team activity or anything like that, that evening I'll come home, call my family, talk to them, cook dinner, read, watch TV, whatever I want to do, journal. And then I go to bed and I get up the next day and I do it again. We are very in routine here. I'm a very routine-based person, so I keep it the same every day. So that day is most days.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So to build off that, I was going to ask you about the importance of getting in a routine. Definitely sounds like you are in a routine, but also we talked about the importance of having a very good morning routine and bedtime routine. Is that something you try to do as well?
Yes. It's honestly the first hour of my day and my last hour of my day set the tone. I truly believe that. I was not always a morning person. COVID made me that way. Both my parents are school teachers, so they were still going to school every day when COVID was happening. And so I have a little sister, she's in 5th grade now, but she was in kindergarten the year that COVID happened. And so I got up every morning, did my workout, ate breakfast. And then by the time that she was up, I got her up, got her on school, made her breakfast and all that stuff. And so having that time to really like focus on my mornings and stuff like that helped me so much. And I just kind of stayed with it. It's just become a habit now. And then like my last hour of my day, like I set everything out for the next day. If I need to pack a snack or pack a lunch or whatever for the next day, I do that. I clean up so I don't wake up to chaos in the next morning. So I'm just a big believer in first hour, last hour. And so I'm, again, a routine-based person. I do the same thing every time. And it helps so much. I think it's just about organization. It just eliminates a lot of chaos. I think as a college athlete or just as human beings, we all have chaos in our lives. And so when you can control what you can control, I can control what my house looks like. I can control if I go outside and go on a run or go get shots up or whatever it may be. So a lot of that first hour, I have an empty slot of time because nobody's bothering me, nobody's calling me, whatever. And so I can get everything I need to get done for sure. And like I said, set the tone for the rest of my day.
Right. Sam, you talk a lot about treatment. How important with the regimen that you have is getting treatment consistently.
It's super important, and I didn't know that when I started college. I didn't realize that. I thought that you went to the training room when you got hurt. So if you got a broke wrist, you got a broke ankle, whatever, that's when you're going to the training room. Right. But like the most, I think, important thing about the training room is you need to be going just to be preventative. So I know things that get aggravated on my body: low back, feet, knees. I had ACL surgery when I was 15. Whatever. So I know what I need to be staying on top of. And so spending 30 minutes before practice, 30 minutes after practice, they know I'm coming. our athletic trainer, she knows that Sam's going to be there. Like, that's just how I am. And so, you put a lot of miles on your body. We lift a lot. I've been doing this for 5 seasons now. So that's a lot of wear and tear on your body. And so now that I'm at the end, it's like, I need it now more than ever. And so I would just say, you think that it's about going when there's something wrong, but you need to go when there's nothing wrong. So nothing wrong happens in the future. And I think that's my biggest thing, I think, for this year, is because I have about 6-7 months left of basketball, and I'm never going to touch one again unless I'm going to go school with my little sister in the backyard. But, I don't want anything. I want to control everything I can control. So I don't want anything bad to happen to me this season. So if I can do all the things that I need to do to stay on top of that now, I'm going to do that. And so it's huge. And honestly, tearing my ACL at 15 taught me that. There's so many things we could be doing preventative for kids the moment they start playing, picking up a ball, whatever it may be.
How do you deal with mentally? How do you deal with the grind of going to see the trainer, doing preventive stuff, and working around just the rigors of being a college athlete?
Yeah. I think mentally it's so up and down. There's some days where I'm like, yes, I'm about to go get 500 shots up before I go to class, whatever. I'm going to go on a 3-mile run. I have all this motivation, right? Well, motivation's not always there. There's other days I wake up and I'm like, if I have to look at a basketball, it's not going to be a good day. I'm going to get mad. I don't want to look at one today. Because it's just 24/7. And so I think realizing that you're not always going to have motivation. You're not. That's just not how life works. But discipline, that's the key word, is discipline. Like, do you have the discipline to do it? And so, I think that's been the biggest shift. I don't know. I don't really remember when I kind of started to get that theory. But it feels even better when you do it when you don't want to do it. Mm-hmm. And those are the days that you get better. And so I just try to eliminate, I'm not motivated. Well, you're not always going to be motivated. Am I disciplined? Mm-hmm. And I know I'm a disciplined person. So it's easy to remember, yes, I am disciplined. So I'm going to get up and go do what I need to do. And it goes back to the time thing too, with going to the training room and stuff like that. A lot of other people just want to, I want to leave the gym immediately. As soon as I get changed, shower, whatever, go home, eat dinner, call my family. Like, that's what I want to do. But, it's just little bits of time here and there. It's going to add up and it's going to pay off in the long run. So you got to be willing to sacrifice your time too.
Sam, I saw you play in high school. Like we were talking before we got on the air. Played volleyball against my daughter. I saw you play high school basketball. You were at an early age. You were different. You could tell you were different. So I'm just always curious. Your father was a successful high school basketball coach, a college athlete. So you had some expectations on you at an early age. How did you handle that? Was that a lot of stress for you? Did it cause you some anxiety? Can you just give us some insight on that?
It definitely did, without a doubt. I never talked about it, I think, until maybe it kind of got to where I was a lot older. And I really started to feel those pressures and expectations when it was time to make big time decisions about what I was going to do with my life. But I never talked about it when I was young because I felt so fortunate to have those expectations and pressures on me. But I can remember my dad was super hard on me, period. There's no question about it. And he's okay with me saying that. And there were a lot of nights that after a game, if I didn't play well or we lost or whatever it may be, I just lost it, whether it was driving home or I was at home. And we have like a little breakfast bar in my house and there's 2 chairs there. And so I always remember I would come down, especially in high school. And if I had a bad game or lost or whatever, my dad would say what he had to say. And I would just lose it. Like if I'm crying, I'm upset. I was so hard on myself and he was hard on me too. But I'm glad that I was that way. But that anxiety that was there, it would definitely, if I would have known how to be better with my mental health and how to deal with anxiety and that kind of thing when I was in high school, probably would have helped me tackle that better in college too, and so I would just kind of lose it maybe if I didn't have a good game or whatever. And my dad, his big thing is like, cry your tears tonight and then you got to lick your wounds tomorrow morning and get up and go right back to practice. So you got another game or whatever it may be. And I think that helped me the most is he gave me the shoulder to cry on. A lot of times in society you think, well, We're not supposed to cry. You're not supposed to be upset about it. But I was very fortunate that he was very hard on me, but he also realized there's time to be upset. There's a time to be sad about what's going on or feel like you let yourself, your family down or whatever it may be. There's space for that. And so that is why I think now I'm much better at regulating my emotions and stuff, because that's the biggest thing is anxieties are going to come, pressure's going to come, expectations are going to come, and you might fall short of those or feel like you've fallen short of them, even if you haven't. And so I've been able to carry that with me. It's okay if I have a bad game and I want to cry. That's all right. There's nothing wrong with that. And it's good when you have people in your circle who know there's nothing wrong with it either. And that's super important. So, it was always just like I said, go to bed tonight, cry your tears. It is what it is. But then tomorrow, new day, reset. And I think that is definitely the number one thing when it comes to dealing with your anxieties and stuff, giving yourself that space to actually feel what you need to feel and then move on from it.
When did you realize, being playing for your dad was worked very hard at his craft. He never took a play off. When did you realize that although Dad's getting on me, it's not how he's saying it, it's the message he's saying? When did you figure that out?
Oh, so he coached me in AAU. And it was so funny when he coached us. He coached different than any other coach that was in the gym ever, because he was used to coaching boys, and you've got 5th and 6th grade girls. And these parents are like, who is this man? He's acting crazy. But like the kids on my team and their parents, they loved him. And that's what we were brought into, And so he was super intense with us. He treated us just like he treated his boys. And I'm very fortunate for that. But I remember we had a tournament in Charlotte, and a lot of things about me as far as basketball is concerned, I think people know that I'm going to play hard. I have a high motor, but it was not always like that. And I try to tell people that all the time. There was a time period where I would jog up and down the floor and not do what I was supposed to, not go run in transition, that kind of thing. And it went on for a while. And my dad was just like, I'm not watching it. And so we played in Charlotte. I think I was in 6th grade. And I did not. It's not that I didn't play good. I didn't play hard. I didn't give everything I was supposed to give. I didn't empty my tank.
Right.
And he knew that because he knew what it looked like when I emptied my tank. And I remember we got in the car. And he literally, his lecture was from the time that we left Charlotte until we crossed over into West Virginia. I remember when we got home, I was like, it has to stop. It has to stop. There's a real issue here. And I think that I realized in that moment, he wouldn't have wasted all those words if he didn't think that I could do it.
Right.
He told me a long time ago, I don't care if you play the piano. I don't care if you dance. I don't care if you tumble. Play basketball, whatever it is, you're going to do something, and you're going to try to be good at it. Even if you're not, you're going to try to be good at it. And I think that I'm sitting there like, what, you just went on for 3 hours, why? Yep. But then I'm like, he knows that I can do it. And so I remember after that tournament, I think going into like 7th and 8th grade, I started to finally get it. I started to understand what it meant to play hard all the time, and just empty your tank every game. And so that's when I kind of, that little light bulb went off, like, he knows that I can do it. And if he can see that with all the successes that he's had and seeing people play, then I need to believe it too. And so that was kind of the turning point for me.
Well, I'm glad that at some point you figured out that dad seeing what he's seen in you. And it's a separator, because you play just like all the other kids that your dad coached. I can remember every time I played against your dad, one of the things that I'd always tell my staff is, if our team don't play as hard as his team play, we'll get beat no matter who he puts on the court. Because his teams are always going to play hard. They're going to box you out hard. They're going to run the floor. And you're going to look around and they're going to get a whole bunch of points they shouldn't have got just because they are where they're supposed to be.
Right.
Sam, I found an article here where you were named Sun Belt's rep for women's basketball student athlete engagement group. And I want to read a quote here from your head coach, Laura Sharp?
Yeah, that's how you pronounce your name. Yeah.
All right. Sam is everything you would want in a student athlete. She is driven, passionate, and a fantastic leader. There is no one better to serve and represent the student athletes of the Sun Belt Conference. So my question is, where did your leadership skills come from? How important is leadership in the success of a team? And, what do you maybe talk a little bit about what your goals are after your basketball career is over?
Right. Well, leadership is super important. There's two types of people in this world, and I truly believe that. Leaders, followers. Nothing wrong with being a follower. You got to be good at following other people, that kind of thing. And I'm glad you asked me that, honestly, because I obviously don't know you as well as I know Coach Collins, but I've never actually gotten to sit down and have a conversation with Coach Collins. And my dad and him might have talked about it before, maybe not. But I'm so fortunate that I had the childhood that I had. I was raised around coaches. I was raised around basketball players. I was raised around people who led and showed me the way. When I think about basketball, I've thought a lot lately about what's going to happen when it's over. And like I said, I'll get to that in my plans. But basketball, in my mind, I don't see my first memories as like me shooting a basketball outside when I was itty bitty. Now, even though I did that, my first basketball memories are watching people like Coach Collins lead their team, watching people like my dad lead their team, watching these people have success, and they're doing it the right way. These are people that are of high character. They're role models in their community. I wanted to be just like that. And so leadership is super important. And I can tell you that, especially as an African-American woman, Coach Collins can tell you that as an African-American man, especially where we live. There's not a lot of people that look like us in positions that are high. But I knew that I could be a good leader no matter what I looked like, where I came from, whatever, because of people like Coach Collins, because of people like my dad. And I'm so very fortunate that I had the opportunity to be raised by these such fantastic people. But I'll say that it is so crucial to a team because whoever your leader is, you're setting the tone. And so most of the teams I've been on, I've been the leader. And so I have to bring the energy. I have to talk. I have to do the right thing when we're not inside the lines too. So those people who, whether they be my age or the girls that are coming up that are younger than me, they know how it's supposed to be done. Mm-hmm. And one of like my family's thing is just doing the things the right way. There's going to be people that have success in this world that maybe don't do the right thing all the time. But people who consistently do the right thing are going to get the right outcome. And so there are days where it's hard to be the leader, and it's hard to be somebody who plays really, really hard because other people may not like that. Other people may not like how much I talk or how hard I play or how aggressive I play or whatever it may be. But if I keep my head down and I just keep doing the same thing over and over and over, I know I'm making our team better. I know I might be making the person that doesn't like that all that well better. You know what I mean? And so that's so important is you got to be willing to not that you can't be liked as a leader, but you have to be willing to let things roll off your back a little bit because you know that you're doing the right thing. And I think a lot of people who sometimes don't do the right thing, it's hard for them to let those things roll off their back. So they're just going to do the things that are going to keep it off their back. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's super important. And, I came into college thinking, I'll get into my plans and stuff after college. I came into college thinking, I'm going to do sports reporting. That was my thing. My major is digital journalism with a minor in marketing. I tell people that when I was younger, my parents are divorced. So my dad was getting ready for school. And I tell people all the time, like most kids watch cartoons or whatever while they're getting ready to eat their cereal. We watch Sports Center. So I wanted to be Erin Andrews. I was like, I don't know what she's doing or how I got to get there, but I want to be her. And that was the plan. I never wavered from it. But I got to college and I did some media stuff and I liked it, but I'm just like, this is not filling my cup the way I wanted to. It's not giving me anything. I'm not working with people as much, with kids as much. And so I came to App, and we have a really big student athlete development program here. We have a student athlete development coordinator. And so I was like, that's really neat. I think that I could do that. So basically what that is there's departments now in athletic departments across college athletics, and these people are being hired to basically help you with everything that goes on outside of basketball. So whether it's, or whatever sport you play, whether it's finding you mental health resources, helping you find internships, helping you figure out your plans post-college. And I'm like, that's my bread and butter. That's what I want to do. I want to work with kids. I want to work with people and help them fill their cup outside of their sport. And so, you know, I've been in these leadership positions, whether it be with the Student Athlete Advisory Committee or what I'm doing now with the NCAA engagement group, that I like being in those leadership positions, not only because I'm connecting with other people and that kind of thing, but like I'm gathering resources that I can bring back to my teammates. You know, I'm gathering resources that I can bring back here to App. You know, I'm going to be sitting with people from the ACC, the Big 10, the Big 12, that kind of thing. And I'm bringing a lot of the things that we're talking about right back to Boone, and I'm bringing it to the Sun Belt Conference, and that's going to elevate us. So that's a lot, you know, on leadership, and I've just kind of gotten my plans and stuff too. But you know, I am starting to figure out what I want to do after college, and I'm starting to put things in place, and a lot of it requires me to be a leader. And you know, a lot of people talk to me about leadership a lot, and you know, it was just never, I was just never, not that I was never not a leader, but I grew up around people like Coach Collins. I grew up with people like my dad, who it was just natural, and it became their nature. And that's how it was for me too. And so, you know, I credit a lot of my leadership skills. I didn't study leadership. I just watched people do it and I did it. So that's the best way for me to put it.
Well, you know, one of the great things about, you know, being in a position of leadership is you're modeling, whether it's good or bad. And so when you're on that sideline as a coach, you have no idea who's watching. So I would have had no idea that you was watching me and watching how we done things. But, you know, that's why when you're in positions that we are, you have to do the right thing. You have to be that role model, because you never know who's watching. And one of the greatest things about, you know, interviewing you, and I talked to your dad the other day, and, you know, I was so excited to be able to get a chance to sit down and talk with you, because, you know, you started at Marshall, you're at Appy now. You're going to finish what you started. And so many times the athletes in Southern Ohio get the tag of they go, but they never finish.
Yeah.
And so you're going to help some other kid be able to go somewhere and finish. And some school's going to say, you know what, we'll take a chance on another girl from Southern Ohio because of Sam Lafon.
Yeah.
You know.
Yes, it's that's honestly been the thing that has been the most rewarding to me. You know, I've gone to all these other cities. I've been on teams with these girls from around the world. And when I was younger, I always was like, I'm leaving home as soon as I turn 18. Actually, my dad asked me, he was like, if you get offered for Marshall, would you go? I was like, heck no, I'm getting as far away as I can. You know, all those things. As much as I love my home, I just was like, I'm ready to go. Mm-hmm. And the older that I've got, the more and more and more I appreciate being from Southern Ohio. And it's something you literally cannot take away from me. You know, when they asked me what my hometown was, they asked me Ironton, and I was like, you know, that's where I went to high school, but that's not my hometown. And I was even craving to put on there that I was from Chesapeake, Ohio, because, you know, Ironton, where I live, where in Lawrence County, Ironton has been a little bit more known for breeding athletes and that kind of thing. And like, I wanted to put that I was from Chesapeake, Ohio. That's what I wanted to put on there. And so, you know, when I walk around and I talk, people are like, you are so country. Like, where are you from? Are you from Georgia? And I'm like, no, I'm from Ohio, but not the part that you think of. And they're like, Cincinnati, I'm about 2 hours south. No. So, you know, it's something that's so rewarding. And, you know, I go back home, and wherever I go or whoever I talk to, you know, whether it be little girls or parents or whatever it may be, I just stress, like, you can do this. You know, you can do it. Whether and I say that to kids, and they may not think it in their mind, but I feel like I want to come back home at some point, whether it be just in little spurts or whatever, and just do camps and clinics and just do workshops or just whatever I can to pour back in the community. Because like you said, there's a lot of people that start that may not finish, and then that's been the stigma that's been around it. And I just don't agree with that. And there's something so special being where we're from and then going out to the other parts of the world. I can't tell you how many people have complimented me for qualities that everybody back home has, because that's just how we are. you know, in our little tri-state area and how people are raised and that kind of thing. There's special things about us that people are looking for in the world right now. I can guarantee you that. We need that genuine care, love on people, that kind of thing. The world is looking for that. I promise.
Sam, you're going in, your career is winding down. We talked about in the journal visualization. How do you visualize this last season going?
Oh, I've thought about this a lot. You know, we have a brand new staff, and when they came, we talked about how you don't think about winning a championship. Like, I don't think about cutting a net down every day. I just do the things I know that are going to get me to cut a net down. Does that make sense? And so I think how I visualize our year going is, I'm a senior. We just got a brand new staff. There's a lot of younger girls on the team. I want to leave some sort of legacy here. I don't know what it's going to be. I don't know what we're going to do this year that they're going to talk about 10 years from now. But that's what I visualize, is that in this first year of my head coach's, you know, career here, we do something that's talked about forever. And like I said, I don't know what that's going to be, but I'm just going to keep making decisions every day that I hope will spark something spectacular to happen. I want to win a conference championship. It's not happened here in a long time. And that's something that's going to take a lot of hard work, because this conference is very good, very good. And but I know that we can do it. You know, I know that we can do it. Our staff right now is fantastic. The girls on our team are humble, hardworking. So like I said, we just make decisions every day. They're going to lead to something great. And so as far as visualization goes, I think every once in a while when things get hard, I think about what the season's going to look like and that kind of thing. But I think if you visualize too much, you get lost in the moment. And I've been like that a lot. But I think the good thing about visualization is you have to be able to see it. You have to be able to see, I know what it's like to be in Pensacola, Florida, and I know what it's like to watch somebody cut down a net. I know that that's going to be us if I do the right thing. So I'll say that.
Well, Sam, do you have anything else you want to add, or anything you feel like we left out that you really feel is important to say?
I don't know. I don't think so. I'll say, you know, with the journal, you know, we didn't talk too much just about exactly the content of it, but I've been in it, using it, that kind of thing. My teammate, I gave my other one to her, and she's been using it, and we're both really big into our faith. And so I think I'll say with that is, while I've been using it, I've realized, and I've dealt with this in the past, you know, I didn't grow up in church necessarily, but my family is pretty religious. And so I think one of the things that it's a misconception about mental health is that it's totally detached from religion. And I don't think that at all. There's these resources for a reason. Someone put mental health resources in the world for a reason. And what I love about the journal is that it fuses both together. That's my thing. That is what I love the most about it. And because of that, I've been more into it. Journaling can be hard for me sometimes, because I'm just like, I'm writing and like I talk a lot anyway, so I just feel like I'm rambling, you know, whatever. But like, that's what's kept me the most in it, is that I'm reminded to sit down, be patient, you know, take the time to think about how I feel and that kind of thing, because there's faith-based things in there. And I think with the Bible, the number one thing that my life lessons is, I think about patience and taking the time to slow down and putting my faith into somebody else. And so that's what I love the most about it. And I'm big on fusing mental health and faith together, because they go hand in hand, truly. And a lot of people don't think that. I think that there's, like I said, a stigma, and we have to separate it, you know, and it's just, well, you know, if you're a believer, then the Bible is the only resource that you have. Well, that is our main resource. That is where we go for our answers. But he gave all these other resources to us to supplement, if that makes sense. And so that's what I love about it. And I think that's what my teammate loves about it, because like I said, she's also big in her faith too. So kudos to you all on people sometimes I think believe that, but they're scared to do it, and they're scared to put religious based things into mental health resources. So like I said, kudos to you guys on doing that. That's huge. And that's very big for people where we're from, where we don't talk about, mental health a lot, but there are a lot of religious people where we live. So it can help get people started on their journey with mental health and removing the stigma a little bit. So it's much appreciated. It's seen, it's valued, it's heard, and I love that you guys did that. It's such a big thing.
Well, we appreciate it. That's one of the things that we went back and forth with. Do we add, do we not? Separation and all of that, and we committed to putting that there because we believe in it. I mean, truly believe that it goes hand in hand. So thank you for letting us know how much you really like that, because that's part of what we're doing.
Yeah, it's huge. And we just, in the Olympics, all these athletes come on these press conferences and they're talking about their faith. And I love that. And I think that it's slowly but surely, like, people are starting to be more public with it. And I love that. And not caring what happens, as repercussions of it. And so, because again, just like we talked about, you do the right thing, you're going to get the right thing. And so, some of these athletes have been like, if Nike or not any brand or Gatorade or whatever, maybe if they have an issue with this, I'm okay with that. And, I think that is just so, so big. And like I said, you fusing that in there with that journal is fantastic. And it's going to help a lot of people. I know that.
Well, Sam, I just want to close with this. You talked about legacy, and I think you were talking about your legacy as a women's basketball player at Appalachian State. But I think Samantha Lafon, the person, has already left a legacy everywhere she's been. And you've been amazing. Your insight is unbelievable for someone your age. But I'm very excited about the legacy that Samantha Lafon is going to leave post-basketball.
Thank you. I appreciate that very much. Very, very much. I know that basketball is such a small part of it. It is. We think it's the biggest part, and it's not. That's something that I really, really, really take seriously, is that, I want people to be able to talk to me. I want people to have a conversation with me, enjoy being around me. I want to be a joy to other people. Everybody on my team and past teams I've been on, they know they call me Granny. Most call me Mama. That's better than Granny, because that signals the 5th year thing. But they know I'm their late night phone call. They know that you can call me if you ever need anything. It's so much bigger than basketball to me. This is a lifetime investment with relationships, and that's just not on the team either. With administrators that I work with here at App, or when I worked with people at Marshall, I want people to know that it's bigger than whatever business we're doing, and that goes back to being from where we're from, being from Southern Ohio. We're very big on hospitality and that kind of thing. And so I'm a serious person at times, but I'm also very unserious, and I'm an open book. So I love getting on here and talking with you guys because, life is just meant to have a good time and enjoy it and be happy and that kind of things. And with college athletics, I'm telling you, I'm going back into college athletics because I want to change the narrative for a lot of college athletes. It needs to be a happier place. It needs to be something that's more enjoyable, more memorable. These are the best years of their life, I promise. And so, you got to soak it all in. And so whatever I can do to give back, I'm going to do that. But yeah, I'm big on being a people person. I love to hear other people's stories and help people out where I can, because a lot of people helped me out when I needed something or whatever it may be. I had a lot of people in my corner growing up that really helped me get me to where I'm supposed to be. So I just want to be that for somebody else. So I appreciate that, and I hope that I continue to do that. So.
Yeah. All right, Gene, you got anything to add before we get off here?
Samantha, it's been great. Just so glad that you were able to come on, share your story, help us our quest to get mental health out there. Keep doing what you're doing, spreading the good word. Good luck to you and your team this year. We'll see you down the road.
Yes, you will. Thank you guys so much.
All right.
Thanks, Sam. Appreciate it.
Yes. Have
You're
a good
awesome.
one.
Uh-huh.